What do you want to be when you grow up? You like art? Oh, then you should be an art teacher. That's what I've been told since the beginning. I do not want to be a teacher. Even if I get to teach my favorite subject, which is art, I still would not want to teach it. When I think of teachers, these are the images that come to my mind, and I can't seem to get rid of them. We've got the most boring teacher of all time. Bueller's teacher. Or Mr. Feeney. He was a cool teacher, although he never ever seemed to age, even though the kids kept getting older and older. Now there is one teacher that I've always looked to and thought, if I was a teacher, this is the kind of teacher I'd want to be. A lot of it comes down to her magical dresses, her pet lizard, and the magic bus that she drives. When I told people I wanted to be an art major in college and create art, I got a lot of different responses. Most people asked, well, what will you do with that degree? I wanted to just say, make awesome art, the end. Most people asked if I wanted to be an art teacher. That seemed like the logical explanation for going to school to be an artist is to eventually become a teacher. And my response was, never. Never wanted to be a teacher. I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, going to public schools. We didn't have an elementary school art teacher, but we did have an art specialist. And he came to our classroom every once in a while with all of his art supplies loaded on a giant janitor. I always looked forward to these days. When I got to middle school, I was immersed into the real art courses that were taught there. But not everyone at our school cared about art like I did. A lot of the artwork that we displayed at the school was defiled in the halls. I just did not have a very positive experience. Working with art was positive, and I loved what I was able to do, but the atmosphere that I was in and the environment that I was creating the art was not a positive one. I knew that I wanted to be an artist, and when I got to high school, it became my top priority. I took every art class I could, sometimes for 2 classes a day. I believe that art was an important outlet for me, and it helped me to improve in my skills in my other courses. In my high school, I was constantly astonished by the behaviors of the students enrolled in my art classes. My artwork was stolen. Much of my portfolio work was destroyed by water damage or by being torn. The students in these classes took the rubber cement and poured it on the tables and papers. The rubber erasers were constantly being cut into tiny pieces by X-Acto blades. Art in the room was always lost or getting destroyed by the kids who just didn't care. My art teacher was an awesome man. He had great relationships with his students, and he taught us wonderful techniques. The classes that I took from Mr. Vandiver are where I developed my initial skills in drawing and painting, and I knew that I never wanted to teach in this environment, though. I never wanted to teach a class full of doofus kids that didn't care about art and only were there to get credit. I did not want to deal with kids who did not care at all and would be distractions to the other students. I went to college to be an artist, and I never looked back on my high school art experience, and I immersed myself in studio classes. I had ideas of what college art courses would be like, and I was startled and upset by my coursework. I loved art history classes, and I loved my humanities classes. However, these awesome classes just made my studio classes seem even worse. I had one oil painting teacher who actually told me to become a dental hygienist because he said that I was too meticulous about my work. He told us exactly how to paint landscapes. He gave us specific paints to purchase to make the exact colors that he had in his most popular and famously painted landscapes. I did really well in this art class until the final, when I created a landscape, and in my landscape my trees had colors of pink and blues amongst the greens, and my professor gave me a lower grade in comparison to my peers who created landscapes exactly like his. I just knew that there was more that I could be getting from these art courses. One summer in college I went to Europe. I did a study abroad. I went to England, France, Spain, Austria, and Italy. And while I was there, I got to go to the Louvre and spend hours and hours and hours there in front of these amazing pieces of work by the masters. I got to go to the Uffizi in Italy, and I got to go to the Borghese and to see the sculptures of Bernini and see the David. I got to go to the Belvedere in Austria and see the work of one of my most favorite artists, Gustav Klimt. Being there at these museums and going to these cathedrals and seeing this artwork really made me appreciate art history more. I was able to see students that were there, that were learning in the galleries, that were learning from this artwork, and I realized that there was something missing in my art education. There was a spark that wasn't there that was definitely there in Europe. The summer after I went to Europe, I was hired as a summer camp counselor. As the summer camp counselor, I spent an entire week with a group of kids. I had 10 to 20 girls between the ages of 14 and 18, and a group with 10 to 20 males of the same age. At this summer camp, we did a lot of amazing things. We had variety shows, we had musical programs, we had dances, we had games. We had all these great activities to work on the skills that these children had. As a counselor, I was able to give lessons and to teach my kids about things that I was very passionate about. I didn't expect to receive such happiness from teaching these kids. I expected to have a lot of fun, but I didn't expect to receive as much happiness from teaching these kids and to get the feedback from them of what they learned and how they were able to become passionate about it. I contacted some of my kids and I asked them to send me videos about what it was about my teaching that helped them to learn and how I might have changed their lives in that summer. And these are their responses.
Kendall was really wonderful about including all of the girls that she had, and she did a wonderful job of connecting with all of us to make sure that we learned what she wanted us to. And she was so fun and so loud, and it was just the best week that she was, she became one of my friends, and she was really able to share her light with me.
Kendall is a great teacher. No matter what she's teaching, she's always going to teach with a smile. Her lessons are always great and entertaining. There's never a dull moment with Kendall.
Kendall Reynolds is a shining example of the perfect teacher. Kendall kept the conversation engaging and definitely thought-provoking. On the harder lessons, she broke it down for us so we could understand it more fully and that we would grasp all of it and not just a little bit of it. Kendall was not just a great teacher, but she was also a perfect example for all of us, which is really what we need while growing up. I can consider Kendall a friend and someone I can look up to. She's relatable, and that's what makes her so easy to talk to. And she's super funny. Kendall has my utmost respect and definitely my support for being a teacher. She'll be amazing.
Hey guys, I just want to tell you a little bit about my old friend, Counselor Kendall, and about how good of a teacher she was. And she was such a good teacher because she always knew what she was talking about. She'd always been prepared, and she'd always studied, and she was always outgoing about what she was going to teach the next day. And I always knew that when she was going to give a lesson that it was going to be fun. It wasn't going to be another boring, long lecture that would want to put me to sleep. I always knew that I was going to be very entertaining. It was going to keep my attention, and I was going to actually learn something from it because she always knew how to keep me entertained, and she just knew how to keep the crowd, keep all the kids involved, and so yeah.
Kendall was the best instructor because she was really genuine and outgoing all the time and made you want to join in on all the activities. Yeah, she's the best.
And I would probably be in the wrong friends groups and not the person that I am today. And I don't think she knows that, and because of this video, she does now. I really hope that hearing this will have y'all recommend her to be your art teacher. She is an amazing person. She is spontaneous, outgoing, she's crazy, and I miss her a lot. And I hope that you guys get an opportunity to meet her because she's an amazing person. She is awesome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Journey Turner.
Go.
Hi, my name is Journey Turner, and one of the things I really appreciated about Kendall Counselor is that she took the time to get to know each one of the kids in her group so that she could more effectively teach us and know what methods would appeal to the way that we learn. And I really appreciated that she didn't group us all together, but she wanted to get to know us. And yeah.
Is that it?
Yep.
From my summers being a camp counselor, I decided that I wanted to go into art education. Once I realized that I could share my passion with these kids and have them love what I loved, that I could also do that with art. I'm very passionate about art, and I knew that if I went to art education, I would be able to instill that same love and be able to be a mentor to the kids and to see them grow and change just as I did as a camp counselor in the summer. While in the art education program, I was able to visit and teach many different schools. I got to go to elementary, middle school, high school, special needs schools, alternative schools, and charter schools. At these schools, I ran into the same kids that I did when I was in high school. Those same kids that did not want to work. Those same kids that wanted to destroy the materials. But this time I was their teacher. This time I was the one in charge, and I was able to control that environment. I was also able to interact with the students and hear from them their goals and their aspirations for their artwork. And I was able to see how coming to this art class really affected their lives, and cooperating with their students and working together on projects really had an effect on their daily experience at school. I just loved working with the elementary school kids and seeing the happiness in their eyes and the excitement levels they had. Even just to mix watercolor paints, the oohs and the ahs that came from their voices were enough to make me want to keep teaching forever. In the middle schools, they were able to work on so many things and learn so many different techniques that I wasn't able to learn in my middle school experiences. In the elementary schools, they were able to work with great materials and be able to have art once or twice a week when I only had it once or twice a month. And I look forward to the possibility of being an art teacher and being there for the kids and having them have that outlet at school. I cannot wait to be a teacher. I know I won't get to drive a magical school bus or take my kids on field trips through Ralphie's and Teston's. I do know that I can capture their excitement just like Miss Frizzle did. I hope that I'm able to communicate with my students enough so that they don't view me as one of Charlie Brown's teachers just saying wah, 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 over and over again. I want my students to be able to look to me like I'm a mentor, just like I'm their next door neighbor like Mr. Feeney was to Corey. I will never be as boring as Ben Stein was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I will not have my kids drooling on the desk, and I will not ask open-ended questions like anyone.